everyone, thank you for joining me. It's Carol here at Oak House Journal. So I'm going to be doing prompt number 24 in the Junk Journal January series. So I'm just lifting out my 3 completed signatures there, and I'm about to start work on my 4th one. So this is the page I'm going to be working on. So I'm just taking away the inside pages, and you can see there I've got some dies. Now these are the Tim Holtz Distressed Leaves die set, and I was thinking that I would cut them out in fabric and arrange them either up the edge of my page. Then here I'm thinking how I could arrange them so that they were a belly band, but I've also lifted out these couple of fabric samples that I have in my stash, and I decide I'm going to play with these instead. Now this is just a frame of lightweight card with a fabric sample in the middle of it, so I'm going to use it more or less as is. So I'm just trimming away the bottom portion a little. I've got this other fabric sample there, as you can see, and I've just tried it behind the flower fabric, which is pretty sheer, and I'm liking how it looks behind, so I'm thinking I'm going to use that. So I've just peeled it off its lightweight cardstock. I'm just trimming away the edges there, and I'm going to glue this onto my journal page. So here I go, adding some glue to the back, and I'm just using art glitter glue because that's a good fabric glue. And this fabric has obviously been treated because there was no threat of seepage through the fabric, which was ideal. And here I'm just trimming down the outside edge of that flower fabric sample, just so that I can position it on my page. And here I'm just going to bend it round to the back so that I can gauge where to cut it, so that I have a nice little flip there. So here I've got a couple of choices of paper that I can cover the frame in, and I decide on this one. So I'm just ripping away the edges here, or the margins, gauging what size I need. A little bit more, so ripping some off the top, and that's roughly the size I need. So here I'm just marking out a border that will match the white border in lightweight cardstock that's around the flower pattern fabric, and I'm just trimming away the inside of that border with my X-Acto knife. I've just trimmed it away on 3 sides, as you can see, just so that I can make sure that it's absolutely right. And here I'm just using my ruler to bend back that flap and make a crease. I will be cutting that away in due course, but I just want to make sure that that frame is going to fit, and that's what I'm doing here. Just using a couple of paper clips to help me hold it in place. And here I'm rubbing out the pencil lines that I used to create my cutting lines. Going in with smart glitter glue on the lightweight cardboard or card frame, and then just adhering that handwritten paper to that white card to create a frame. Quick burnish. So testing it once again on my page to reinforce that fold on the left hand side. Now here I am going in to cut it away. Trying with my X-Acto knife, but it wasn't cutting through the fabric particularly well. I was struggling a little bit here. So the paper comes away nicely, but as you can see the fabric is not being cooperative. So I go in with my rotary cutter, which is a fabric cutter. And here I'm cutting some extra little strips of that handwritten paper, and also another longer strip, and I'm putting the longer strip behind so that it will support the fabric, and then these handwritten paper strips I'm just gluing down on the top so that my frame is complete. And that's what my frame looks like. And now I have to tackle the back, and I decide I'll go for a much quicker process this time round. So this time I just rip strips that I know are going to fit from that book page. It looks like a handwritten document, but it isn't, it's a book page. So I've just ripped strips that I know will fit, and I'm just gluing them in place and then ripping away the excess. So that's my first piece. Ripping another strip and placing it along the bottom, gluing it, same as I did previously, turning it over and ripping away the excess. A much quicker way of doing it, definitely. So here I've got some excess at the bottom, just folding it over before I rip it away with my ruler to help me. So obviously I've done the top and the bottom, and I just need to do the sides. So adding glue to one side, in with my strip of paper, and this is the opposite side. Just adjusting it. There we go, glued in place. So here I've got just a tiny scrap of that handwritten paper that I covered the front of the frame with, and I just want to put it on the opposite page for some reason. There is handwritten paper on that page, but I just wanted another portion. Here I'm using some of the brown packaging paper that I used on that left-hand page, and I'm just using a couple of scraps on my frame, ripping another portion here, and I'm going to put it behind, on the journal page behind. Liking how that's looking, so I'm going in with some glue onto the top of the frame, trimming away the excess. As you can see, the bottom one is already stuck in place. Now before I put that second piece of packaging paper on the main journal page where that piece of fabric is, I decide I want some of the handwritten document behind it. So I'm just fiddling with that at the moment, trying to see how it's going to look. Putting a paper clip in place because I want to see it with the frame over the top. And before I glue that in place, I've gone round my journal page with some messy black machine stitching, and also round the inside portion of my frame, as you can see, and doing the usual trick, burnishing with my bone folder on the front and the back stitches, and then going in here with a little bit of Vintage Photo Distress ink just on the edges, just to frame it all, and as well to tie it in with the opposite page. So just going around my journal page here. I've got a couple of stamps, a red one and a green one, and I want to put them on that piece of brown packaging in the bottom right hand corner and just layer them up. I want the red to pick up the red of the flower, and the green I want to pick up the green stamp that I've used on the opposite page. So there we go. And this was that little scrap that I wanted to put up in the top right hand corner. So just gluing that in place, trimming away the excess just with my scissors. Here I'm using my bone folder and the ruler to create a crease in the left hand border, and this will be my little hinge for the page. So just burnishing that crease. There we go. It works. So adding some glue, popping it back on my journal page and burnishing it to help it adhere and dry. So here I've got one of the Tim Holtz stencils. As you can see, this is Flourish, and I'm going in here with the latest texture paste that I'm using at the moment, which is Dream Weaver Crackle Embossing Paste in white. It's a lovely texture to this, and I'm working it through the stencil and all over the top of that fabric. And there we go, that's what it looks like. Another stamp or two on the back of the frame, and I've positioned these on the reverse so that they are in the same position as the stamps that are on the front. And finally, I've got another scrap of that handwritten paper, and I'm just putting it in the bottom right hand corner of the page. You can see I've already got a scrap down there, but I don't like it. It's not big enough, so I'm just popping this one in place to butt up to the stitches in that bottom corner. And there we go, that's my finished piece for today, everybody. I really liked how this one came together. I liked the fact that I've got a good colour match with my page on the left hand side, and I like the follow through with the texture with the modelling paste or the texture paste. So I'm going to leave you now with some close-up photos so that you can see in more detail what I've done. But thank you as always for your company. It was lovely to have you join me today, and please join me again for the last few remaining prompts in this Junk Journal January 2024 series, because I'd really love to have your company. Until the next video, everybody, take care. Bye bye now.